My husband and I first came in 1971. Just by accident, Ed said, you know, there's a place I've always wanted to go to. It's called Cabo San Lucas. And I had never heard of it, and I don't think many people had heard of it at that time in 1971. So in fact, to get a flight here was impossible because even in Mexico City, the Mexicans didn't know where it was. So finally we were able to get a plane and get to La Paz, and from there we took a little plane down to Cabo San Lucas. We questioned whether we had come to the right place. We came over the mountains into this very dry, barren place, and afterwards a little taxi pulled over and came up, and we got in the taxi and we drove into Cabo San Lucas and up over the hill and looked at this magnificent, beautiful little beach, the Bay of Medano. And so we skin dived here and fell in love with it at that time, and that was in 1971. Ed Giddings was a very rare and unusual person. He was dedicated. He was actually a John Wayne kind of personality. He was a very adventuresome soul that he was every day diving, and when he wasn't diving, he was visiting the Mayan ruins. And one of the things that he learned in traveling was that he loved the natural materials. He loved the stone and the round curvilinear forms and the cement and the rocks, and of course he loved all the verdant tropical vegetation. So he was drawn to this, and he felt this was where he should be. He always felt that architecture was a form of art, and that it was really a sculpture, and he loved curvilinear forms. And so in his architecture, you will see that so many of the buildings are really art forms. He felt that he was more involved with the art of architecture than the building of architecture. So in his first ability to do this was with Ocho Cascadas, where he had his own ability to do what he wanted to do, not for a client, but just for himself. And then the second really marvelous ability for Ed was when we came to Cabo San Lucas and he built Club Cascadas de Baja, which was his dream, and his goal was to create a total village in this very curvilinear, artistic, round form, using all native materials, all natural materials, the stone from the rivers in Baja, even the trunks for the palm trees were brought in from Puerto Vallarta at that time. Today, I don't think you could do either of the buildings, either Cabo or in Ocho in Puerto Vallarta, with the amount of handwork and detail that went into his work at that time. But he loved his work, and he loved it as an art form. The design features are, again, as I mentioned earlier, very unique because Ed felt that this wanted to be a village. It wanted to have a special ambiance all to its own. He actually thought of this as an island. He felt that it was should be a palm grove, and that the village feeling with all the buildings separated. There are actually 24 separate buildings plus 2 larger buildings, so that it became a lovely village. And what's so fascinating is the members now will often say to me as I walk through, this is our village, this is our oasis. So he created that environment. In the village concept, we have 24 separate round buildings, and each building houses 1 to 3 villas. And then we have a larger compound that includes the restaurant and 3 villas, and then a top villa called the Villa Luna. The buildings are extremely sophisticated in design, and one of the things that's interesting is that when you live in an environment that are all curvilinear forms around you, it's extremely peaceful and tranquil. But it's all, again, a feeling that we're living in an environment that is our own environment. And I've mentioned this to some of our members, and they've said, I know what you feel because when I come here, all of a sudden I relax, and as I walk through and meander through the paths, I just get this marvelous, tranquil feeling. So basically, we have a number of different designs for people who have different needs. Some people want something very small and lovely and cozy, and some people want something large with beautiful views and pools. So we have really had fun with it. It's been a lot of fun to do it because there's nothing the same anywhere. You just keep finding some new wonderful building with something new to see. Club Cascadas de Baja is very special, as the members feel. It's so unique, and it's so different, and it's so beautiful, and it's timeless. And I think there's a peace and a tranquility here that people don't find in many resorts that they go to. And I think the architecture, of course, is one of the huge drawing features. People love to come. In fact, curiously enough, people will say, I've gone home and I've taken some little part of Club Cascadas de Baja, and I did a room like it, and I did my backyard like it, and so it becomes part of their lives. But what brings people back to this club, I think, is they feel as though it's their home. They love it for the reason, of course, we've discussed: the architecture, the beauty, the simple way of living here, the simple way of being here, and it creates an environment that people don't want to leave. And that's what another thing that's become quite wonderful is that we're doing a program called the Legacy Program. And that's all about people staying here forever, and their children staying here forever, and their grandchildren staying here forever. So this club will be, the members that are here now will be with us forever. That is the legacy of Club Cascadas de Baja, and the members do love it.